All right, let's get straight into it. Let's head down to the Cattery last night. The Bombers, they travelled down. They didn't do a great job. The Cats, as Chris Scott pointed out, they are the danger.
So seriously, we are very confident that if we play our best footy, we're the danger.
And they franked that, didn't they, the week after with Stevie, 7 goals to 5 to 1. Sorry, no score in the first quarter.
Yeah, they just jumped out of the gate. So the ball just lived down in Geelong's front half. They won it out of the contest, and as you see, Close here kicking a nice snap goal. He kicked a couple in a row. Brad Close. Those small forwards had every opportunity last night. As I said, they just come out and absolutely dominated. They kicked 7 goals, 5 in the first quarter to Essendon's solitary 1 point. It was selfless. It looked like them at their absolute best, and if they can bring that on a weekly basis moving forward, they'll be very, very hard to beat.
Kane, you've been one person who's been pretty good on the Cats all year. Even though they were down and out, you still thought they could win the flag.
They can win it, and they can absolutely win it. Now, the next month for them is really difficult, but they can beat all of them. So Brisbane at the Gabba next week, what a game that is going to be. Freo away, Port at home, and then Collingwood is a big game. But with the way that their forward line is structured, their smalls in Myers and Close, Rowan will play his part. Henry gives them some depth, and Hawkins with what he's doing now, Jeremy Cameron will only build, and then behind the ball with the Koning and Stewart back in. Their midfield holds up, which I think it can with Dangerfield and now Holmes in really good form. There is no reason that this team can't win it. They're not on the same rung as Collingwood in terms of the quality, but they're as good as any second-best team in the game right now.
They won 16 in a row last year to close off 2022. If they somehow find a way to stay where they are in fifth spot, there's no reason they can't then expect to win 4 in a row in a final series. Now, I know what you're saying about Collingwood, but I'm with you, Kane, and I reckon what they're showing now. And I love that messaging from Chris Scott last week, just to send the message to the whole competition. Don't forget about us.
It was a coaching masterclass by Chris Scott last night. They had 32 more inside 50s against Essendon and just had 32 scoring shots to 10. And he wanted to own the corridor. And it was really early in the game, you could see. So Ridley has the ball. And look at the way Geelong have set the ball up to not allow Essendon to get their short passes going and not give them the corridor. So this is what turned out. So they're squeezing the ground on them, owning the corridor. And suddenly the panic started to set in with the Bombers of, OK, we want the corridor. We want to lower our eyes to those short passes we've been doing, but they just didn't give it till right from the first bounce, and it was goal after goal after the goal, and as hard as they tried, it just got worse, and they started to panic. That player behind the ball, Henry, was very good early, and on the flip side of that, they didn't give the Bombers the corridor, but then the Bombers gave the corridor to them all night long with repeat entries and great entries from Geelong. So you see the frustration here. Even Zach Merritt doesn't make many mistakes. Brad Close, as a small forward, got back, owned the corridor. On the flip side, used the hands. Heppel has to come forward, the run, the overlap. Bowes through the corridor, it goes in long. They don't win it the first time, but it was just overwhelmed in the end. Moments like this happened, and they were just obliterated in every way last night.
You'd love being a forward with that vision that you just showed there, and Tom Hawkins was the beneficiary of that. He took 8 marks inside 50, Tom Hawkins. He kicked 5 goals. He kicked 8 against the Bombers earlier on in this year, and clearly Essendon didn't have a match-up for him again. But with the entries that Lordo has shown, I mean, the access that he was able to get to one-on-one. So what he's got is his speed and his power back, Stevie, off the lead. I'm not sure in terms of his speed testing, but he's as quick and as powerful as any player. First 2 or 3 steps. He's kicked 45 for the year now, and he's still in the hunt for the Coleman medal.
Yeah, he's just one of the smartest forwards in the competition, so he times his leads perfectly. On a couple of those occasions, Zerk Thatcher had absolutely no chance of defending him. On that occasion there again, that's very tough. The ball use was tremendous, but the way he's able to protect the drop zone of the ball is better than anyone in the comp.
We'll chat in depth with Max Holmes later on in the program, but the Vol-Kane-O has been put up the batting order. This is an early Vol-Kane-O.
It's an early one, and the only mistake Geelong made last night was this after the game. Zach Merritt played game number 200. Why are we needing a guard of honour in terms of the Bombers lining up for him? I would have just got off the ground straight away. You've lost by 77, you've been embarrassed. Game over halfway through the first quarter. But there's a pandemic. We're now lining up for umpires. It's a great effort, Brett. You've been a terrific umpire, game number 500, but we are lining up too often. And what is it? Then game 250. What milestone is 250? And I see GWS
500 games
lining
an umpire. That's a damn good effort.
We're not guarding honour for umpires now. At the end of the career, we'll send you off and you'll be in the Hall of Fame. We'll recognise that. But GWS lining up for Rory Sloane in game 250. What is going on? There is a guard of honour pandemic. North Melbourne last week lined up for Zach Tui because he broke the Irish record.
So what are your rules then? 300? What is it? For nothing?
Unless you're Dustin Martin and you retire and it is your last game, line up for Dustin Martin or a champion, Scott Pendlebury. 250, 200 umpires breaking Irish
500
records.
games for an umpire, though.
That's embarrassing.
That is a big effort,
That's
though.
embarrassing.
We want to pump up the umpires. We need new umpires.
Maybe borderline. But Zach Merritt, 200. You've lost by 77. Get off the ground.
Yeah, I agree with you with the Zach Merritt one, but the umpire one, 500, that's big.
50-50. What are your
50-50?
retires there?
All right. What do you think of that, Damo?
No, I'm actually with Kane on it. I'm not always with you on things, but I do reckon it's overcooked, the lining up of the opposition. I mean, Essendon lost a bad game of footy yesterday, and then they're lining up for that.
But he shouldn't have put his hand up. He should have said, no, boys, let's just get off.
Well, that's the option, isn't it? Yeah.